Hey, greetings. It is January 9th, and I think that we're well past the phase of saying Happy New Year, but I do hope that everybody's year is off to a good start. For me, I got COVID about a week ago, and I woke up on Monday feeling kind of crappy, thinking I just had a cold, so I did a rapid test on Monday, and it came out negative, so I was like, okay, cool. So I avoided the COVID, and I had seen somebody just about 3 days before, and I gave him a hug twice. Like, I can't stop just being who I am. Is like, hey, give me a hug. And I found out anyway that this friend of mine had COVID, had tested positive, and I thought I escaped it. But then on Tuesday, I wake up feeling like death, sore from the bottom of my back all the way up into my neck, feeling really feverish and sick, but not, my temperature not above normal, and I tested positive. So the week has been a really awful, like feel really almost nauseous and pain in my stomach, dizzy. It's not fun. And I did another test on Thursday that was still positive, but here we are on Sunday, and I'm thinking, this is the first time I've actually been outside for more than like 2 minutes, other than just to throw some bird seed out for the birds and squirrels who are now invading the bird feeding area, and to get a log. And I've had a lot of help around the homestead. Haven't even eaten anything really for about a week, and so it's really good for people who want to go on a diet. I strongly advise COVID, and it makes you eat nothing and then just lay down. And I drank a ton of water, honestly, just forced the water through, and that helped. But since I'm here telling you a little bit about the COVID thing, the crazy thing is like, we live in a touristy area here in the Mount Washington Valley of New Hampshire, and you go to the supermarkets, and more than half the people aren't even wearing masks. And I am vaxxed. I admittedly have not gotten my booster shot yet. I did the Pfizer test, but you go to a supermarket, and at the very least, when you go to a supermarket, the people who work there are wearing masks, as a way of saying thank you for working in a supermarket for all these ungrateful people. I'll also wear a mask, even though if they're not N95, we realize they don't even do crap anyway, but they do say, thank you for working at a supermarket with all these thankful tourists, with thankless tourists who don't even have the kindness to wear a mask in a supermarket when they're shopping in your hometown. It's not a rant, but it just is a thing about personal respect and being decent to other people in the area, with whom you cross paths with from on a day-to-day basis. But 2021 was pretty interesting. I had one of the greatest things ever happen to me in the last 10, 15 years of my life, and that is a company took note of my podcast, The Happiness Quotient, and they said, hey, why don't you do a podcast for us, very much like The Happiness Quotient, and kind of brand it toward us. You have 100% editorial control. You do your own thing, but you do it so we can reach our customers. And as many of you know, that podcast is called Tools for Nomads, and the company that took a leap of faith with me is known as Top Drawer. And I'm so grateful and deeply thankful that there's somebody who thought that maybe some of the things that I was saying in my podcast were helpful. The owner of the company, who is very non-social media, and so out of respect, I won't even say his name. You can look him up if you want to look up Top Drawer. You'll be able to find him. But he said, you know what your podcast is about, The Happiness Quotient? One word. He says, it's about love. Because everything in it is about love. It's about respecting the people. It's about it's about respecting other people, the guests that you have on, and you show so much kindness and interest in what other people are doing. And I love that. Well, pun intended, I suppose. So he's like, I want you to create a podcast about love for us, and then also to begin writing a blog in the year 2022 and start writing about our products too. So in that time that he asked me to do that, I took a little bit of a break from the Happiness Quotient, even though I've got a few episodes, interviews ready to go that I've already done, and I just need to edit them and post them out. Some amazing interviews that are going to blow people's minds. One about a guy named Don Walsh who went to the bottom of the Mariana Trench in 1960, and the deepest ocean dive ever. I think somebody beat it recently, but and then also a naturalist named Bruce Means who went down to Guyana with my friends Mark Sinnott and Renan Ozturk to film a documentary on the Tapuis down there. Great interview with him. And then also this week I'm going to be doing an interview with a very, very old friend of mine, and it is an amazing interview that I offered to do with him, her. He was a he until recently, and now is a she. And I'm going to do an interview with this friend of mine who is trans, and she wants to tell me her life story. And I said, whenever you are ready, you have an open palette to do your story with me on the Happiness Quotient and tell me the story about your life. And believe me, hers is a remarkable story of courage, and she has been one of my best friends and also was a coach of mine as a high school student growing up, and we have always maintained a close friendship over the years, so I really look forward to bringing that to you. So yeah, stay tuned for that, the Happiness Quotient, and more amazing stuff on Tools for Nomads. You know, some of the people that have inspired me are my guests on my show, but I've also been watching podcasts a lot. And if you're interested, one of my favorite podcasts is Lex Friedman, F-R-I-D-M-A-N, and he's a fascinating interviewer, talks a lot about IT and extraterrestrial life, and a brilliant guy. His long format podcast you can find, it's just called Lex Friedman. Friedman is also on YouTube, so you can watch him there. Pretty amazing dude. So before I go, I've been reading the Upanishads, which I don't know if you're familiar with what that is, but they're ancient Vedic texts, if you will, from Hindu religion that go back thousands of years, and they're amazing. And I've read a lot of stanzas and quotes from the Upanishads over the years, but I've never actually opened the text to actually investigate from beginning to end what they're about. And I'm so moved because one time a friend of mine, a brilliant man, said to me, if you were to put together all the texts, all the writings of all the religions over the millennia, they would all boil down to just a few simple paragraphs. And I really liked that because when I started reading the Upanishads, essentially they are saying that we gain wisdom through experience. And it sounds really simple, but you cannot gain wisdom through reading or scholarship or anything. You have to go out and have those experiences in order to gain the wisdom of those experiences. So when we encounter trials and tribulations in our lives, whether it's financial or physical or emotional, like the loss of a loved one or a broken heart or being flat broke or having somebody steal something from us, or losing a job and things like that, there's a lot to be learned in there. Physical too, people getting sick, or sickness in the family or in one's own home, there's a lot to be learned, and so in those crises that we encounter, there's an open doorway, a portal, essentially, for us to learn something and to look into it and begin, asking gentle questions of what can I learn through this tribulation that's taking place in my life, as opposed to cursing it, as opposed to saying, oh, you dastardly thing, bankruptcy or cancer or whatever it might be. There's something in it. And so the Upanishads, man, it started right there. We learn through experience. So be welcoming to those experiences that come our way. Before I let you go, and if you're still with me, bless you and thank you for your friendship. In my life, my dream and my goal always is to whittle out negativity and to continue fostering positivity. And part of that is, not only not letting negative emotions rule me, but not taking in negative things in terms of food into my body. And so that food is not always a physical thing. It's not always, eating bad foods or processed foods, but it's about the news around us and the vibrations of those around us. And so when we let those things overwhelm us and encounter those news cycles that create a strain or a stress in our body, we can whittle those things away and foster positivity. So think about those ideas of staying positive and being in a place where we whittle out negativity and keep those things from being so impactful in our lives that they dominate us. It happens. We don't even know it's happening sometimes. One of the things that's happening to me this very minute is I haven't been outside in a week, and it is cold out, but it's starting to rain and almost kind of like a little frozen rain, and I think the birds are hungry. So before I actually say so long, I'm going to bring you around here, and this is where I feed my birds. It's a little bit of a junk show because I've got all the wood on the house covered, but this is where I feed my birds over here, and they get really used to me, and they see me coming, and the chickadees will go, ree, ree, and the chickadees make all these noises. Right now we have zillions of juncos, and the juncos are lovely little guys, and they're kind of mean to each other. Like if the juncos have a buddy and the buddy is eating too much of the food, they'll get chased away. It's kind of fun to watch. Anyway, guys, thanks for your time. If you've enjoyed what you've heard or have anything you want to add, reach out. Let me know how you're doing. Happy New Year. It's too late to say Happy New Year, but I don't not mean it. Happy 2022. I love you guys. Stay well and stay in touch, okay? Peace out.